Hello, my name is Jared Heitkamp, and today I'll be going over how organizational behavior can be used to effectively manage employees. I'll review the different approaches and theories a company can decide to use when interacting with employees, how to effectively empower staff, and a training plan to implement any changes. We'll also discuss potential roadblocks like conflicts between employees and stress in the workplace. The company the assessment will be performed on is Tool Supply Company. This is a family-based company that has been in operation for 50 years. They specialize in retail and distribution of industrial tools to manufacturers in the Michigan area. Examples of products they sell include indexable inserts, drills, taps, and dies. Their emphasis is to provide excellent customer service by lowering costs and increasing productivity. Recent growth and expansion make them a perfect company to implement an updated management approach for. Four approaches to management TSC can implement are the classical approach, the human relations movement, the contingency approach, and positive organizational behavior. The classical approach does not consider human behavior and focuses on increasing productivity by targeting areas of standard operating procedure to reduce wasted human motion. Human relations movement focuses on human behavior and is when management notices the needs of employees to motivate them to perform. This looks at internal and external factors of what affects the morale of employees. The contingency approach looks at each employee individually and adapts based on the employee's response until effective results are received. Each approach can consider both theory X and Y when interacting with employees. Theory X has the inherent belief that employees are lazy and require constant management. Theory Y is opposite, where management believes employees have the self-control to complete their responsibilities at work. The final approach, positive organizational behavior, focuses on areas of strength of employees and reinforces those strengths to increase productivity. Interactions between management and employees can differ. The LMX model emphasizes the relationships that can be established between management and employees based on their skills, abilities, or personality. A positive relationship can increase employee satisfaction, increase productivity, and create a more positive environment. Employees receiving less or negative attention can receive unfavorable work and have a higher employee turnover. Prevention of favoritism will require equal attention from upper management with employees and developing a level of trust by identifying employees who would be considered as part of the out group and investing additional time towards them. The path goal theory is used by setting goals for employees to reach and recognizing when they need assistance. This technique can be catered on an individual employee level and can be successful in increasing employee motivation. Positive reinforcement is a technique that can help an employee reach their goal and increase their self-confidence. To successfully train and implement a new theory like path goal, TSC will need to schedule site-wide training sessions that can provide a clear description of the theory. Break down the major concepts involved in the theory, how employees at different levels can assist, and how management can influence the productivity and motivation of employees to reach their goals. What benefits there are in using the path goal theory, like increased motivation, productivity, and job satisfaction. Give examples of other industries or companies will assist employees in understanding and increase their confidence that the theory works. A timeline of when the theory will be implemented and steps throughout the process. Finally, leaving time available for open Q&A to make sure everyone's questions are heard and understood. TSC must be able to utilize employees to the fullest and provide opportunities for employees to increase their self-confidence. Employee empowerment gives employees the ability to make decisions that influence the direction of the company. This also places the results on the employee, giving them a sense of ownership. TSC has multiple opportunities to institute employee empowerment through their different departments. For example, providing inside sales staff with the opportunity to make sales by reaching out to manufacturers and receiving commission-based financial incentives. Training staff by having a mentoring program is an effective way to provide consistent procedures from one specific individual from each department. Have new employees engage in positive organizational politics and create a more well-balanced employee. Management will need to refrain from partaking in negative organizational politics like gossip or speaking poorly on other employees. Using employee empowerment and by mentoring staff, TSC can build trust between them and the employee. This can be broken if they refuse to take responsibility for making a mistake or passing the blame on someone else. After being in operation as long as TSC has been, there eventually will be conflict between employees and stress due to the increased growth. TSC will need to find ways to counteract stress and conflict to maintain a positive environment. Exercise programs, allowing remote work, games during break, and even a night where employees are celebrated are great ways for employees to relieve stress and insist in disconnecting from work. Conflict can result even when employees are trying to reach a common goal, but there are multiple types of management styles that can counteract conflict. In the graph is listed 5 types of management styles to respond to conflict. Competing management style is where a manager places emphasis on oneself over others, where only one can be victor. Accommodating management style is opposite of competing and places the concern of others before oneself. Sharing uses compromises between all parties to find an agreeable solution that impacts everyone equally. The collaborative style of conflict management is a creative technique that looks for solutions that are beneficial and positive for both sides. Avoiding conflict management style removes a manager from the situation, leaving the responsibility for others to resolve. One type of change TSC can make to the company would be to implement a new ERP system. This would streamline current processes like invoicing customers, vouchering vendors, and updating prices of products. Resistance can be expected from such a significant change, but the benefits can be explained, as well as a time for an open Q&A session. Creating changes can assist in removing bad habits and creating procedures that have internal controls. When creating these changes, having an organizational structure that displays the levels of management can help demonstrate to staff who to report to. TSC can better reorganize their managers from general and administrative roles to roles that are more customer and profit focused. Clear segregation of duties can be applied in sales positions based on geographical territories where customers will interact with the same managers. TSC will also need to add a manager at the new location, which a current employee who has demonstrated proficiency can take over that position. Tool Supply Company's goal is to continue to expand, and they must consider the culture internationally and on an organizational basis. One area of consideration is the power distance, which demonstrates how accepting a culture is to authority figures. The other is individualism, or collectivism, where they place the success of the group as more important than that of the individual. Countries like Mexico and Colombia have higher power distance and low individualism numbers from Garth Hofstede. This shows how they would be more accepting if TSC would start business there and listening to management as well as working in the best interests of the company. TSC places importance on the benefits of diversity by being an equal opportunity employer, celebrating different holidays, and having an open door policy giving everyone the opportunity to communicate with management. There are still ways diversity can be improved upon by implementing DEI training, updating the employee handbook to create a more friendly environment, and adding a DEI specialist that staff can reach out to. This can give TSC a competitive advantage through workforce diversity. Tool Supply Company has many different types of techniques and theories to consider while trying to manage their employees. Each approach has its own benefit that must be factored and determine what would create the largest increase in productivity and employee satisfaction. TSC can use the study of organizational behavior to determine whether focus should be used on an individual basis instead of working on managing all employees using the same ideology. Even after determining a leadership style, TSC must continue to be consistent and refrain from organizational politics that can negatively impact the work environment. Factors like stress, lack of motivation, and internal conflict will be a consistent opponent in trying to lead a successful team, but TSC now has an understanding of what to look for and how to provide employees with the opportunity to reduce stress. Continued use of a successful management technique will result in TSC's goal of expanding nationally and eventually internationally.